Welcome, everybody, to the Chinchilla Pickin' Podcast. It is October the 6th, 2024 at 4:08 p.m. As always, we hope to be entertaining, educational, and uplifting because we want everyone to make money. My name is David Underwood, and I'm joined by the one and only, the unbreakable Baron of Bonds, Brandon Beaver. How are you?
It's been a crazy 2 weeks. We didn't have a show last week because we were getting ready for Lindsay to have her gallbladder removal surgery, which she had on Monday. It went well, but there's some people. It depends on who you are, basically, about how the recovery goes, right? Some people have this, and it's like an ingrown toenail, and the pain's gone in no time. Other people have a much worse time off. Unfortunately, she's had it much worse than most. But we're getting slow progress, getting better now. So it looks like we're finally starting to see the light at the end of the tunnel.
Good. That's
Yeah.
good news that you're seeing the light. Um, it's coincidence, but that she is the third person I heard getting that I personally know getting a gallbladder removed this year.
Okay. Well, I want to know how they experience. Like, we can talk after the show because I'm curious how their experience was.
Will do, will do.
Because there was a lot that we weren't prepared for.
Oh, there,
Like,
there always is. Like when I had my shoulder replacement surgery earlier this year. If you ever go through that, man, just hire a maid and a nurse for like 2 months. Just
yeah.
just do it. It's you can't
Indeed.
do anything, so just do that. So yeah, it's not fun. Yeah, other than that, how did Cowboys do this week? I know you like bringing that up.
They play tonight.
Oh, they played tonight.
Yeah. Last week, well, it was a Thursday night game, so they played before we would have had the show last week, anyways. Beat the Giants in one of the most terrible wins I've ever seen. The ugliest game of football I've seen in a very long time.
Nice,
And tonight,
nice.
Micah Parsons out. He's injured. He's on the injured list. So, star defensive end for the Dallas Cowboys. That's not going to be good. I don't. I'm going to watch it, of course, because I watch every game, but I'm not looking forward to it.
Gotcha. All right. Fair enough. Fair enough. It is October. It is fall. It is the start of Q4 for most companies and for the stock market as a whole. And it's a good time to start enjoying the holidays, enjoying your time with family, and focus on the things that matter. So that's what I like to focus on during this time, this part of the year. All right. What do you say we get into it? Rules,
Okay.
rules, rules. Brandon and I get together 5 minutes before the show. Today was like two, but we get together 5 minutes before the show and we tell each other what we're going to talk about. You actually get the real live back and forth discussion right here on the show for you. That way it's fun for the listeners. All right, Brandon, as always, take it away.
This is why I tell people when they're first getting into stocks and investments, especially if you're a long-term investor, turn off CNBC. Watch it for like maybe 10 minutes if you want, just to see what's going on for the day. Once you figure out what's going on and you know what's happening, then and turn it off. Keep the emotions away, stay rational. Because 2 weeks ago, the sky was falling. We were going to go into a recession. Everything was terrible. The Friday jobs report hits. Turns out everything's not terrible. We're all good. Goldilocks economy again, back to a soft landing. Everything, is great. Bye, bye, bye.
All right. So in defense, uh, 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 channels like CNBC, Fox Business, and Cheddar News try to report news and events in real time, so they don't get a lot of time to vet and clean up how it's reported.
No, they want ratings. That's in driving emotions is ratings, and actually, Cheddar's probably one of the best ones.
And
They're least
that's debate.
emotional.
We can have that debate another
They're one
time.
of the least emotional. They approach news with a more rational base. I hate the name of the
I do. I
Cheddar.
don't
I
like the
hate it. I
name. Like
can't stand the name.
I like Bloomberg on the weekends because they have interviews with CEOs and they just report the headlines down there below while they're having the interviews, and I find that interesting.
There's a Bloomberg. I don't even know the guy's name off the top of my head. I listen to him like on Friday nights, and they release it as a podcast, and it's a show that's on every Friday. Bloomberg Business Week or something like that.
Yeah,
I do
I like
listen
that.
to that. I mean, it's nice and boring.
Right? That's perfect. But all right, so yes, if you're a new trader, you want to be a long-term investor, you don't want to be watching the news every day and it just messing with you, constantly making you double check, double think, doubt yourself and doubt your research you've done. I agree with that.
We don't want to be boring on this show, but investing done right is boring.
It is very
It's
boring,
fun to
yes.
look at your stocks every once in a while, but you buy the right companies and you just sit and hold and you listen to the earnings reports and only pay attention to when there's big news, that comes out, and then you make up your own mind. And don't cloud it with all of the people that might have other agendas that are trying to yell at you on the TV to buy or sell something that you probably shouldn't buy or sell.
Yep.
But here's the point. Okay, so I wanted to get into the news of the jobs, the job report that happened Friday. It was a blockbuster jobs report. And I
Soft landing.
and I just said 2 weeks ago that CNBC, all these news channels and talking heads were saying, the sky's falling, and now everything's good. And you're gonna look at me and you might say, well, Brandon, you're gonna count yourself in the soft landing camp now. What's the deal, right? But I've been rational this entire time. Never once did I ever suggest for anybody to sell. I never got emotional about it. I have rationally had information on this show, right? It's been rational, and I never once did I say I've 100%. I have stuck on this show very consistently and said it doesn't matter if you think there's going to be a recession. When a stock is a buy, it's a buy.
All right, go ahead.
So U.S. employers added $254,000, $254,000, 254,000 jobs in September. The number is higher than the average monthly gain of 203,000 over the past 12 months. That's good. Um, Job growth was notable in the food and drink industries, the healthcare industry, government, social assistance, and construction. The unemployment rate decreased to 4.1% from 4.2% in August, and this was entirely unexpected. And I do think that there's probably going to be some increased volatility because of this. So now we were looking at, another 50-point base rate and, cut for the Federal Reserve. And now we're probably not going to get the 50-point base cut from the Fed. We don't know, though. We were looking for 25. They gave us 50 the last time, right?
And so
So,
I mean, with this good jobs report, you're right. I don't think they're gonna do a big cut on the Fed rate unless what Powell said was that they want to rebalance the interest rate and make it more to where it actually can affect change, is what he said.
well,
And
well, they've been overly restrictive for a very long time. So even with good news in the market, they still may, cut high because they've increased high, for two years, and they kept it that way. So it might happen.
right,
We don't know. But what I want people to view this as is good news. It's good news. The stock market may react valuation wise to the possibility of the Fed not cutting rates, and if it does, and we get a correction or something like that, that's your chance to go in and I think pick up some stocks at a good value.
yep.
All right. Average hourly earnings rose by 0.4% to $35.36 an hour. Annual increase of 4.1%. Unemployment rate for black workers dropped to 5.7% from 6.1% in August. Jobless rate for Hispanic workers decreased to 5.1% from 5.5%. The average work week edged down by zero point 0.1 hour. They took that as bad news. I don't necessarily take that as bad news. I think that's evidence of efficiency increases. We can do
Yes or no, it all
34.
depends on what field. You could do case by case basis on what field.
It is, but I think that we're doing a lot in 34 hours that we used to do in 40, not that long ago, because of technology. and increases in productivity. That's not necessarily a bad thing. And it doesn't look to me like wages are being hurt by this either. So
Our wages
there's a
currently
loss.
keeping up with inflation, though. They haven't over the last
4
3 years.
point, so 4.1% annual increase that is for wages. That kept up for the past, trailing 12 months. That kept up. So economic forecasters did not expect this jobs report. They didn't expect this to be this strong. They anticipated continued cooling in September. So the stock market went up in Friday because we were having sell-offs leading up to Friday, um, in regards to recession fears, and then this job market, report cooled those fears down.
But I mean, so now do you think they cut too early and now we could be stagflation or deflation?
Probably not. Probably not. I mean, in the past, inflation has been rather volatile. Hasn't been really a straight trend in any direction for any short term periods. And in the 1970s, inflation was down and then up and then down and then up. So it's hard to tell.
Gotcha.
And I have to take the position right now that I don't know. I don't know the future. There's always going to be uncertainty out there. And if you don't know, then you do what you do know. You do the things that you know, right? And so if you've got a company with a good,
Nice word salad.
you buy into it. You know it's a good valuation for the next 10 to 20 years. Who cares what happens in the next year or two, even? Who cares at that point, right? So, digging further into the job market or into the jobs report here are the job categories that saw some of the biggest employment gains in September: food services and drinking places, 69,400 jobs added there. Social assistance had 26,500. Construction had 25,000. Local government had 16,000. Retail trade, this was a surprise to me. Retail trade added 15,600 jobs. Home healthcare services added 12,700. Hospitals added 11,500. And then the on the bottom end of this, the ones that shed jobs in September, temporary help services lost 13,800 jobs. Warehousing and storage lost 11,000. The logistics industry just continues to get hit hard, and we've yet to see a bottom there. I think.
Sounds like we need more automation.
Well, maybe. It just we're still not moving the freight like we used to move it. I don't know. I don't know when that's going to turn around. Thought it would be by now. I thought it would be by now. But transportation equipment manufacturing, 5,200 jobs lost.
Gotcha. All right. So, I mean, since you brought up logistics and we're talking about jobs, I'm sorry. I again, I have to preface this statement with the fact that I was a Teamster union steward at one point in my life. And Brandon just got a smirk on his face. He knows exactly where I'm going. But the longshoreman strike this past week, and the fact that they're arguing for a 70% raise over 6 years. So it is spread out. It's like what, 10%, a little over 10% a year, what they're looking for. When the majority of Americans are only getting 3 to 5% raises, number one. And so they're holding our goods hostage. And then number two, they're saying we should not innovate and automate. That way they can keep jobs. And it's when there are other major ports around the world that are almost fully automated with no humans on the dock whatsoever. And we're so far behind on that. Just so a union guy can have his $1 million mansion and 700 it's a set and make $750,000 a year. The guy that's been on TV.
Are they still angry that candle makers went out of business when the light bulb was invented?
I'm yeah, and that's exactly my point. That's exactly my point. Is we they need to just let us automate Because if we automate more and more and we do it faster, like with what Waymo and Tesla's doing with the autonomous driving vehicles, that's going to make the roads safer. If no one's driving, it's all, autonomous. It's not going to get rid of jobs. It's going to create other jobs. And that's what we've seen true in history.
Yes, yes. So for the guys that lose their jobs to automations, the individuals, it's very hard to explain this to them. They have mortgages and families just like everybody else, right? That's why we have the unemployment, benefits that we have in the United States. That's why we've got, cushions for people to fall back on, hopefully. But yes, you are correct. While it's hard to tell that one individual person, hey, you're losing your job for the betterment of society. That sucks, but it is true, right? So when we increase efficiency throughout the workforce and we're able to take our time and energy from doing one thing that now we can automate and use robotics and AI to do. Now we've got more focus and more time to focus on other things and create new industries. And we've got more capital to do it as well. And then also the industry that you're working in that is automating these positions and using robotics for it. Now they've got more capital to invest and grow in other areas as well. The ATM, the fear of the bank ATM when it was invented was that it was going to take the job of the bank teller. And the interesting thing that happened actually after that was there were more bank tellers in the end. You're muted, Dave. I think you're muted.
Yeah, that is crazy. That is crazy. Uh I like the teller analogy. I'm just concerned that they're not going to get the automation agreement, and we're going to see this strike happen again here in 100 days, right after the new year.
Yeah, the only way that we stand in our own way, essentially, as a society a lot. We shoot ourselves in the foot because of things like this.
Right. Yep. But I'm not making any investments off of it. I'm not gonna trade anything based off of a strike that won't last forever. Will there be some short term day trading? Um, maybe. It's hard. There's no play to make on it. There's no. I don't know a single play to make on it where it would move a stock 5 to 10% in one direction or another.
Yeah, I don't either. I haven't seen anything come down in devaluation.
I just want to remind everybody that a union is a for-profit company.
Yes.
And I just want to make sure that everybody, as a
It
former union steward, I can tell you that for a
is it
fact.
really though? Like, because I thought you had to be a I forget what the tax code for it is. But
So
I thought you had to show no profit at the end of the year. I know that people make salaries
you
off the union.
you reinvest all the money back into the union.
Yeah.
Yes. Via like higher salaries or what have you. So back in 2008, um, and I'm pretty sure I could say these numbers. They should be. I don't see any reason why I wouldn't be able to. Back in 2008, just the local Cincinnati, there's more than one Teamster union. The president of the local union was making close to $200,000 a year with a $700 a month car allowance, on top of other expenses that they were allowed to make. And that's just a local one.
Yeah,
If you
it's
were
sad, the best way to be I think a lot of people have gotten rich off of unions and charities.
right, and if you were just like a treasurer, you
Yeah,
still got that $700 a month car allowance, and you were yeah, the vote was every 4 years.
crazy.
So in 4 years with $700 a month in 2008, you could sign a 4 year um contract on a car and pay off a car in 4 years with none of your own money,
Wow.
because cars were a lot cheaper back then than they are today. You could buy a brand new, like, let's just say Camry or Corolla for around 10,000.
Wow.
And so it's like now those same cars are over 20,000. It's a lot different, and I'm sure the payrolls have gone up over the years as well. But anyways, enough about that. Enough
Now
about that.
let's talk about Google.
Let's go
Big
to Google
transition.
because Google's also, aren't they changing things up as well?
Yeah, they are.
Are they
Uh,
automating
it's
with
not really.
robots?
I mean, yeah, there's data centers. They got a huge data center that's going up in Thailand right now. Um,
I saw that. They
you
had
know,
another one in another country I saw recently.
yeah, but their share of U.S. search and market, I'm sorry, the share of the U.S. search ad market is expected to drop below 50% next year for the first time in over 10 years.
And it's not because of other search engines. That's the weird thing. It's because of, if you go to Instacart and you're grocery shopping and you're picking out stuff and you're looking through cereals.
Yeah.
Well, Kellogg's will have an ad there that will pop up for Fruit Loops or what have you. I don't know if they even make Fruit Loops, but they'll have an ad pop up for Cheerios, or General Mills will, and you'll see that ad. And now that's ad revenue for Instacart.
I'm not selling this stock because of this though. Anything near 50% is still a nice wide competitive moat to
Oh,
have
I
your competitors.
yeah. And I tell you what, I recommended this as a buy 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
I'm still holding my bought in, and I'm still holding it, and I believe in it, that Google was undervalued at the price it was. It was below 160. It was 158 when I recommended it. As it closed on Friday, it was 166.98.
Well,
So in 2 weeks, it's jumped up almost 4% for me. So I'm happy with my returns I'm getting right now on Google.
I'm gonna do a little bragging. I don't
Do a
know.
little bragging,
People
brag
actually,
away.
I announce my buys on the show. When when I'm going to buy a stock, I usually say on the show ahead of time before I'm going to buy it. So you'd have to go back and kind of listen to our past shows to try to figure out when I
I
bought Google because I don't remember
While
what I
while
bought.
you're while you're looking that up real quick, I want to mention too. I also said I was selling my Novo Nordisk stock because I believe there was too many headwinds and too many legal issues coming up, and that was when Novo Nordisk was over 130. It was about 133, 134. Novo Nordisk is at 114 right now,
Yeah.
so that's another one I got right.
My cost average on Google is $92.92.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah, my cost average on Meta is 153.64.
And Meta has good news that they're going to be growing here soon too.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
anyways, back to Google data centers expanding. Go ahead.
So with that, why would I sell? I've got a nice cushion there. You know what I mean? There's no reason to sell for me. And they've had a grip on this market, though, and this is why people are talking about it. Because they've had such a grip on the $300 billion search and advertising business, but it's starting to loosen a little bit because of competition. Um, and you're right, it's not necessarily from other search engines. Bing has eaten into it a little bit, but when it comes to search, anything in life, the old habits are hard to break, right? People still Google stuff on Google.
All the
Um,
time. I still do.
but this is according to the Wall Street Journal. The big one right now is TikTok. That's their big competition in the ad market, which allows brands to target ads based on users' search queries. And they said that this is challenging Google's core business. Google came out with an answer to this last week, and I'll talk about that here a little bit in a minute. But they've also got the startup Perplexity, which is an AI search startup backed by Jeff Bezos, and they're going to be introducing ads under its AI generated answers as well. Perplexity previously made a revenue from a $20 a month subscription service for more powerful AI technology, and now they're starting to get into the search AI area. Amazon is also taking a chunk of search ad spending. Many consumers are starting product searches on its platform, and Amazon is expected to have 22.3% of the market this year at 17.6% growth compared to Google's 50.5% share and 7.6% growth. So it sounds like Amazon's catching up here, but we really don't know where the ceiling for Amazon is yet, right? The growth is bound to slow down at some point. Google remains far ahead in the search market, but they're facing increasing pressure from rivals. Advertisers have been absolutely elated by this because it makes things for them cheaper, and they've been wanting more competition in this area for a very long time. Um, and what they were saying, what the Wall Street Journal was saying here, was that the generative AI boom is transforming search products, and that 60% now, 60% of U.S. consumers that are shopping online start with a chatbot.
Really?
Yes. So they're asking the
Man.
chatbots, the AI chatbots, for advice on what to buy. So now Google on Thursday has answered this and said that mobile users in the United States can now see ads related to the queries within the search engine's artificial intelligence powered overviews. So if you use Google's AI and search, the ads will pop up based on what you're searching for.
That's, I mean, that's a smart way for Google to put the ads in.
Yes, it's an answer to TikTok. It's a way of making money on these chatbots finally. And this is always something that I love to see. This is back and
I
forth in these business wars that happen. This kind of back and forth. One guy looks like they're losing, and then they come back, and then they're winning, and it's back. It's
the only thing that comes to my
interesting.
mind is if you're using a chatbot, you expect it to be a AI response of some sort or a computer response, and instead now you're getting ads. I mean, is there any kind of legal challenge there for Google, like of fraud or misrepresentation, or
I mean, I
don't?
think that they would have to be very careful when it comes to like medical advice, pharmaceuticals, things like that.
I'm sure they have very smart lawyers who've already looked at it that are way smarter
Yeah,
than you and I put together,
yeah.
that have already approved this. But I just wonder that, like, hmm.
If you use Meta's Llama AI chatbot, now, and this is since before I talked about this a couple of weeks ago, where I was saying that, I was concerned with the misinformation that's popping up. I started asking it medical questions, and you could see it typing out in real time. And then sometimes it'll just delete what it typed and say, I can't answer this.
Really?
Yeah, I think it detects that it's starting to give out medical advice and maybe some misinformation, and then it just disappears off your screen.
So you keep trying to push it, man. You keep
Yeah,
trying to, because you keep telling me all these different things you're trying. It sounds like you're really trying to see how far you can take these AI bots.
I'm trying very hard, and I'm asking very tough questions. Um,
Nice.
Questions that you wouldn't expect to find many places on the internet. That's what I want to see. That's why I was asking all the questions about local history of Ross, Ohio, because not many people outside of Ross, Ohio have even heard of Ross, Ohio, let alone Morgan Township, which was the area inside of Ross, Ohio that I grew up in. And if I'm asking local history questions about that are hardly anywhere to be found on the internet, and it's given me the wrong answers,
Right.
it could be a problem elsewhere and other, factors of life as well. But people have been finding the ads within AI overviews helpful because they can quickly connect with relevant businesses. And this was Shashi Thakur. I'm probably saying his name. I'm butchering this name right now, but he's the vice president for Google Ads. He said that they connect with relevant businesses, products, and services to take them to the next step at the exact moment that they need them. So I think there's a lot of room to grow here for everybody. Even if Google starts to lose some of its market share and it does dip below 50% for the first time in 10 years, there's still room to grow within that.
There's a lot of room to grow. I'm very bullish on Google, especially long term. They have so many positive tailwinds coming up the pipeline. They continue to create a pipeline, and they can continue to make mergers where they seem, they'll be profitable. So
Yeah. Shopping ads are also being rolled out in Google Lens. That's the image recognition tool. Google said that 20% of nearly 20 billion visual searches done by people using Lens are shopping related.
Nice. I just tried to Google Lens pictures of Brandon Beaver and see what pops up.
Yes, they said to look out for key information about products being searched via Lens. Coming soon, including reviews, price comparisons across retailers, and where to buy. That's all upcoming as well.
Gotcha.
So
All right.
Google
So
hitting back with a left hook here. We'll see. We'll
Google
see
is
if they
hitting
can
back.
keep their lead and continue dominance in the ad space. I think they can.
I 100% believe they can, especially with the data centers. And I know a lot of people find Microsoft Office Suite, especially small businesses, too expensive. So they have switched to using Google's products
Yeah.
instead because Google has made comparable products.
Yeah. On another note, my relatively new laptop that we bought, it's not relatively new. It's relatively new to me, but it's like 2 years old, right? So in the laptop world, that's old, I guess. Um, I actually used Microsoft Edge for like the first time today to search on something. And the weird thing about it, and you would think that the default search engine for Microsoft's browser would be Bing. I typed in something to search on Edge, and the default browser, the default search engine was Yahoo. I was like, what year did I buy this laptop in?
It's from 1995. Get your
Right.
98 Windows upgrade.
Yeah. I
Oh
expected to
man.
see the Chandler Bing Microsoft 95 commercial or something pop. You
Right.
know what I'm talking about? You remember they used the Friends?
I do remember that. That is how old I am. Yes. So, oh man. Since we're talking about AI, I want to get into Open AI if you were done with Google.
Yeah.
Um, so OpenAI recently raised another 6.6 billion this week from investors. It valued the company at 157 billion and really cemented its position as one of the most valuable private companies in the world, right?
Okay, so most valuable based on the amount of money that people are giving them, not based on the amount of money that they're bringing in.
Well, we're gonna get to that. I got numbers for all of this here.
Okay.
So some of the companies that were go ahead and taking part in this round of funding was Altimer Capital, Fidelity, SoftBank, Abu Dhabi state-backed investment
Yeah,
firm.
SoftBank has never made a mistake.
Okay, that's funny. I'll give you that. That is funny. Um, now the chief financial officer did have allow any employees who own shares in the company earlier this year to sell the shares if they wanted to when it was valued at $86 billion, but now it's valued at $157 billion, which is raising that valuation up even more. One notable company that did not participate was Apple. They decided not to go ahead and invest with OpenAI anymore. So that was a noticeable empty chair, if you will, in there. Coming in here, the company is on pace to generate 3.6 billion in revenue this year. That still though has a loss of $5 billion with that. So they're still operating at a loss. However, they're projecting a major revenue jump to $11.6 billion next year. That would make them profitable. That would mean, okay, now they have a net profit.
So are they saying they're going to be profitable too? Because if they're going to have that big jump in revenue, it might come with a big jump in spending also.
Unfortunately, they're a private company, and I can't see into their books right now, Brandon. So, I mean, I don't know how they're making this money. I'm just going reading the numbers that they're giving Reuters here because I'm going off a Reuters news article from earlier this week, right?
Gotcha. Okay.
But I mean, in here it says right now, these are the numbers. I'm going to read them off to you here real quick. Since the launch of Chat GPT, OpenAI's attracted 250 million weekly active users. The company's valuation's risen from 14 billion in 2021 to 157 billion this week as it grew its revenue from 0 to 3.6 billion. And that actually exceeded Altman's own projections at that time. So what they're saying is OpenAI is saying we are beating our own projections. We will be profitable here very soon, and we are going to be worth all the money you're putting in.
Okay.
I get why Nvidia's putting money in, because why not own a piece of the company that's driving sales of your chips?
Absolutely. Yeah.
100% get that.
Is Meta
Uh,
listed on there?
I did not see Meta listed as one of the companies that were investing.
I'm pretty certain that the llama is in partnership with OpenAI. I think
Maybe,
it is.
maybe. Yeah, and they were just listing off companies that were in this latest round of
Gotcha.
financing.
Okay.
Um, so I mean, there's a lot there. Do I believe OpenAI is worth 157 billion? Not right now, but maybe they will be, and people are investing in the future. So we'll see. All right, on to my next thing. I want to talk about a this is not a company, it's an ETF that I recommended on TikTok, Instagram under the Chinchilla Picking podcast and on this show. And I want to give some updates to it because this ETF updated its prospectus. And that's why it's always good to read prospectus, especially if it's a fund or an ETF for your 401k. If you have time, take it out, read it. So this ETF, CONY, CONY, was paying out a monthly dividend. And they're doing it based off of option tradings throughout the month. They would take 90% of the profits, pay it out each month to the shareholders. Here's something I read into prospectus, right? So in the prospectus under distribution risk, if so, I'm going to try to read the important parts to this. The monthly distributions, if any, may consist of returns of capital, which would decrease the fund's NAV or NAV and trade in price over time. As a result, an investor may suffer significant losses to their investment. In addition, the underlying stock may pay dividends. The fund's returns will not include any dividends paid by the underlying stock, and any income generated by the fund may be less than the income generated by direct investment in the underlying stock. What that is basically saying is if you bought it and it was at $10 a share, and they are paying out that dollar a month that that's probably been the bottom that they've paid out over the course of the inception. This stock could drop down to like $9 a share or $8 a share, but they're going to continue paying out these distributions and diluting the NAV and the shares outstanding. And so they just put it in a perspective so they can say that everybody was informed of this who are investors, and not everybody reads prospectus like Brandon and I do. We read these reports and we find them interesting.
So
Go
they're
ahead, Brandon.
continuously selling shares back out onto the market.
Not always. It's only according to this prospectus is they can do that if they don't generate enough income to pay a monthly distribution, and they choose to, instead of not paying, pay the monthly distribution. It's all ifs and ands and maybes in the prospectus.
Okay.
So, having said all that, right? Based off of the returns that CONY has generated since the inception of August of 2023, because all of these income ETFs were brand new thing. The SEC just approved these to be a thing last year. So we haven't really seen years of these type of ETFs. We haven't seen really, any kind of how these things work ever. But given the distributions that the dividends that CONY has paid out over the past year, if you were to invest $1,000, you would have made your $1,000 back in dividend payments in less than a year, in about 9.5 to 10 months. You would have made your money back. So, what I am personally doing with my CONY investment is I'm not selling. I'm just going to go ahead and take the dividend. I'm not buying anymore either, and I'm going to tell people not to buy anymore. I'm going to take those dividends they pay me monthly, and I'm going to invest it in companies I want to invest it in that I believe are stronger and better for the future, and they're going to give me the returns I'm looking for. That's how I'm going to use that money. So then, if in theory, Brandon, if they continue with this rate of return on dividends in 10 months, I would have reinvested the same amount of money that I initially invested in CONY.
Okay.
And I would still be getting
And
those dividend payments after that time.
And then the question is this, if you're going to be profitable would come down to how far the stock drops.
Well,
If
I mean, here's my thought on it, and this is personally, again, what I'm personally doing is, um, I'm still going to be profitable as long as they maintain this rate of return for another, 6 months. I will be profitable, because the dividends they would have paid out would have made me the profit, and I'll be reinvesting those into other companies. And then after that time, I will still be getting a monthly dividend from CONY, which I can use to continue to reinvest. And that every month after I hit that mark is now just straight profit.
Yeah. So I'd be interested in finding out how much they've diluted the stock since the original offering.
And so I tried to look into that on Thursday. Friday I was extremely busy with personal things and already book and bookings in my life, and same as Saturday. On Thursday I could not find how many shares were available at inception versus how many shares are available now.
You should be able to
Um,
find it in their quarterly reports.
right, and so I hadn't got that far yet, and I was reading through the prospectus, and I said I just want to go ahead and get this information out there to the people who listen to the show, because when I say something's a good buy, and then things like this happen where changes are made to the prospectus, and I want to put that information out there for the listeners. But yes, that is a good place to go, as quarterly reports, to
Yeah.
find that out.
And look at the shares outstanding and just see if they've gone up. And then also there should be SEC filings as well.
Yeah, there should always be an SEC filing if you dilute share price or NAV. Um, but yes, I still think it's a good investment, but the way I view the investment's different now. I'm not investing more money into it. I'm just going to go ahead and use those dividends monthly to invest in other things such as Google or Apple or Amazon, for example.
Mm.
And then I will recoup my money that way.
Yep.
Cool.
Cool.
And so this was something that was brand new. I took a chance. I risked. It was very risky. Brandon was very conservative and said, "I'm not doing it." And maybe Brandon, you made the right decision by not doing it, because it's anytime that they come out with a new tool or a new derivative, a new way of making money, it's not always good. Enron tried to have a new derivative on broadband, buying and selling broadband usage back in the early 2000s, and that didn't turn out well.
Cell phone minutes too, I think they did.
Yeah. So, I mean, there's all kinds of new derivatives that come out, and that doesn't necessarily mean just because the SEC approves them that they are good.
Yeah.
So, I want to get into two quick articles that shouldn't take too much time here, before we get into the earnings calendar for this week. Real quick, Brandon. First off, I want to talk about Wynn Resorts. They're getting their first UAE gambling license. This is going to be the first ever gambling license in the United Arab Emirates. Now, this is significant, not only because of culturally and the rules and laws over in the UAE, but as the UAE's demographics have changed. A lot of people look at the UAE as a Islamic law country, but they have really relaxed a lot of their laws. They are still very strict in some, and you wouldn't know it if you lived in the United States and you don't pay attention to things, but they have a 15% Christian population in the
Yeah.
UAE.
Yeah.
So
It's
it's a very diverse country if you look at it.
very rich. Also, very one of the richest countries per capita.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And so the UAE is continuing its diversity and expansion and growth here. And Wynn Resorts is gonna open up the first ever casino in the UAE, and I think this is a big deal. I think this is gonna bring in a lot of money for the UAE, and it's gonna bring in a lot of tourism, more tourism than they already have
Oh, they're doing
for
it.
the
I'm
UAE.
assuming it's in Dubai, right?
It's going to be on an island very near Dubai. It's
Okay.
at the Al Marjan Island in Ras Al Khaimah. I'm sure I'm mispronouncing all that, and I apologize. I'm doing the best I can. That's like the state, the Ras Al Khaimah or Khaimah is the like the how we would look at United States state. But yeah, it's definitely going to be in there. And I think this is a good positive move for Win. So,
I
am I
agree.
buying Win off this? Maybe. I don't know. We'll see. Um, I also want to go in since we're talking about gambling and sports. I want to talk about how in Brazil, what's going on there. This just came out this morning, 11:20 a.m. Eastern time on the Reuters Newswire. Brazil's Lula, and that's the president of Brazil, says they will ban sports betting if the addiction is not regulated. That's the quote from Brazil's Lula da Silva. Basically, here's what's going on in Brazil, and this is why he is coming out and making these statements. So this I'm gonna read from the article here. So this is the article, not me. Soccer mad and bet loving Brazilians have fallen hard for sports betting since it was legalized in 2018. Bank studies show that bets are hitting household incomes, reducing consumer spending, and bankrupting families. It was Lula said it was unacceptable that low income families that receive Social Security transfers through Brazil's Bolsa Family Familia program should be spending the money on bets.
So who is Lula?
He's the president of Brazil.
Okay.
He's the Joe Biden of Brazil. Um, what's going on is here's another article, another paragraph in this article. I encourage you to please go ahead and read this article. It's a good article, but it says still damage to household incomes, mainly to poorer families, has worried the government, and its concerns increased after the central bank reported that 3 billion reais or $550 million was spent on bets in August by recipients of the Bolsa Familia program. So people on Social Security were spending 550 million US dollars worth of Brazilian money for just 1 month in Brazil.
Wow.
Lula called a cabinet meeting on Thursday to discuss whether to ban the Bolsa family beneficiaries from betting, but no decision was taken at this time. So this is apparently a real problem in Brazil right now, and the sports betting companies have basically taken $550 million worth of Brazilian taxpayer money away from Brazil because it's Social Security money that was paid out, and they're just betting it away and losing it.
Yeah, but here's the thing. You invested in Social Security yourself. You're just getting your own money back. And I don't
Yeah,
know how it works here, down there in Brazil, but here in the United States, you'd be lucky to get all of it back, let alone
yeah,
make
that's
a
true.
return.
May
So,
not be around when you and I go
yeah.
to retire.
So no, don't ban it because that's their money. They have a right to it. They gave it to you with the expectation that they would get it back with interest.
Well, I don't think it's the Social Security you're thinking of. This is more for low income, is
Oh,
what
okay.
he's talking
All right.
about.
Yeah.
People who need the extra, like welfare. That's
Okay.
a United States equivalent welfare.
Okay. I
So,
have other thoughts on that, but they're not necessary for the show.
so is this going to affect? Is this going to be a
Um,
problem? And is this going to start affecting the betting sites in other countries? Is my question.
I probably
You
not.
know,
Yeah, I doubt it. You know what
gotcha.
my
You
reservation
said that
about?
very quick and very confident.
Well, yeah, but I mean, a lot of stuff happens in South America that doesn't spread to the rest of the world. Thank God. With the
I
exception
thought
of,
you liked the Argentinian government
I
right
know I
now.
like Argentina now. I like it now, but historically, it's been awful. That's why
How is that Argentina ETF, since we're on this topic, that you invested in? How's that doing?
I need to look at it. I actually, honestly, I sold it, and I think said on the show that I sold it. But let me
Did
see.
you make a nice profit off of it, or
I did. I did okay on it. And I just sold it because I wanted to buy more Disney and Nike, which has been going nowhere. But
Nike's awful? Why would you buy Nike?
Nike is okay. So Nike was awful, but that's when you buy a company when you think it's going to turn around. And the
I
CEO
mean,
that they just hired that I talked about 2 weeks ago,
yeah.
Dave, do you listen to the show?
I don't know. Apparently not. Apparently, I don't hear anything he said. Yeah, I do remember. Yes, I remember the
Okay.
conversation about Nike and you believe in its future, but they've just been so awful. I can't see that getting back to where it was.
Yeah, I think it'll come back. I think they'll turn it back around. I'm big on the turnaround plays. So we'll see. We'll see if it goes the way that I want it to go. I
All
am
right.
looking
Well, while
Argent.
you're looking that up, I'm going to get into the earnings calls this week. There's not a whole lot out there of big names because it's quarter just turned, so they're not everybody's going to report in the first week of the quarter. But we do have Pepsi on Tuesday. That'll be interesting food wise. See if anything's going on with there. That's one I'll be looking at. On Thursday, we have Delta Airlines travel. Taking a look at Delta. I thought Delta's bottom was 40. Brandon was saying Delta's bottom was 45, 47. So we'll see who's right when they report their earnings on Thursday to see. We're talking about stock price. We'll see how they report.
Okay, so
Uh,
Argentina's ETF, ARGT is the one that I recommended on the show. It's up about another 10% from where I sold it, a little bit more. So I wish I wouldn't have sold it
nice.
now, but yeah, 19% I think from where I was recommending it because we were at about $56, $55 somewhere around there when I was recommending it. It's at 67.32 right now. So
There you go.
yeah.
All right. And then on Friday starts the real big companies that I'm very interested in. On Friday, we have JP Morgan Chase reporting on Friday, as well as BlackRock, BNY Mellon, Wells Fargo. Couple big banks coming out on Friday with earnings. So we'll love to see how well they're doing. See if JP Morgan Chase can keep up this bull ride they've been on lately.
Utilities has been killing it too.
Yeah.
Banks and utilities, the two sectors that went nowhere for like 10 years.
And the last time we covered Pepsi on the show for an earnings call was when we were talking about whether or not the weight loss drugs would have an effect on the stock, and because it was selling off because everybody thought that the new Ozempic and Wegovy shots would make you quit eating chips
Well, the real
and drinking
reason to
Pepsi.
sell Pepsi was that they were losing pricing power. They increased their prices too much. People were protesting it. They were being dropped from store shelves in Europe and even here in the United States. Some retailers decided to drop them. So obviously, they didn't have the pricing power that they thought they had. It's still
Right.
a global conglomerate. It's still a good company, so to speak, but they had some missteps with pricing.
Well, we're gonna find out how they're doing currently.
Yep.
Brandon, final thought.
I hope the Cowboys win.
That's
They look
that
better.
is a thought. Yes, that is a thought.
Yeah. I know.
Um,
I'm holding on to Google. I think that, even if they do drop below 50% for the first time in 10 years, any company would kill to have 50% of the market share in any industry that they're in.
nice. All right, a couple things for my final thought. First of all, I am so shocked Tesla's staying above 250 right now. I never saw that coming. I thought they would have dropped because that whole AI automate, you can have your vehicle be a taxi for anybody out there in anybody's vehicle, and that whole update wouldn't work. I still haven't seen any headlines on it, so I don't know if they just postponed it or what, but I was expecting that to be a headwind for the stock, and it hasn't. ExxonMobil, I exited my position with the tensions in the Middle East. Oil prices went up, ExxonMobil share price went up, and I sold. I took some profit, freed up some cash. I have more cash on hand, Brandon, now than I would say I have in a while. I have exited a lot of positions.
Okay.
That's why I bought into Google because I had some cash. I'm sitting on cash, and I was like, let me buy into Google. That way, I'm holding something I feel is good, secure for the long term. But I'm sitting on a lot of cash, waiting for things to. I don't know. Maybe I don't need to be waiting. Maybe I'm being too conservative, and I'm not jumping in there and buying these things that I feel could move higher. But we'll see. We'll see. I
Google's
can always go
Google's the
ahead.
Coca-Cola of our time. You remember when we were growing up, you'd go get a pop. You No matter what it was, you would say, I'm going to get a Coke. It
Yeah,
was
I call everything Coke still to
Yeah,
this day.
exactly. And then so when you're searching for anything, you're Googling it. It's
Yeah,
yeah.
Xeroxing. Yep.
Yep.
Um, but yeah, that's what I'm looking at. I might actually Mo has also surprised me staying above 50. Did not see that coming. I don't I think people are just being wanting to put their money in somewhere safe. and secure and get those secure dividends from Altria there. Here's one thing I am worried about is there's still more and more talk each year. I don't think it's going to happen anytime next couple of years, but of moving commodities off the U.S. dollar.
Yeah.
That's a talk that I continue to hear more and more about. Maybe it's just conspiracy theory. Maybe it's not true. Maybe it is. Maybe it isn't. Who knows? I know it's not going to happen anytime in the next couple of years. But my thought was Bitcoin would always be a good investment to hold if that ever happened.
Okay.
Right? Because you can use Bitcoin anywhere for any country, and you can go to another country and transfer Bitcoin into whatever country you're in, whether it be euros, rubles, yens, or what have you.
When do you think it'll be that I can go to Kroger and use Bitcoin to buy groceries?
Oh man, asking out off the top of my head right now, I would have to say at least 5 to 6 more years.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. And
Here's my final thought.
if you could create a company that can actually make that happen faster, you would be a billionaire
Yeah,
in
absolutely.
very quick.
Absolutely. Here's my final thought. Anytime you have a company that its name becomes a verb, it's a pretty good sign.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna chinchilla pick that.
That's kind of
All
hard.
right. Yeah, it's a hard one. Thanks for listening. Please hit the subscribe button. Please tell your friends and families to give us a listen, give us a chance. Follow us on all of our social medias and on Stock Twits. We try to get on there every now and then. But yes, thank you for listening. As always, we hope we've been entertaining, educational, and uplifting because we want everyone to make money. Have a good night.
Have a good night.